Shalom Yasharallah, this is your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakudash. Double honor to the apostle and elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And citation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. I want to jump into this here article real quick. It says Russia's closest ally announces joint military drills. All right, and hey, this is all shaping up to that final world's war. All right, what we're seeing is, a lot of these different nations are taking part in these military drills, man. All right, the weak saying that they're strong. All right, they're all being prepared and they're all getting their weaponry and everything ready for the battle, man. All right, so hey, we know where this here world is the direction that the world is headed to, man. All right, all out global war. All right, this is something that most people all have in in the back of their minds. Hey, there's going to be a third world's war. All right, and we're right there. We're pretty much already in it. We're in the Cold War portion of it. All right, or more, let's say a warm war, because you do have bullets flying among some of these different nations. All right, and we're no longer in the informational phase of just propagating misinformation on both sides. Now, you actually have a conflict going on in the Ukraine. All right, whereas Ukraine is being backed by America and all their allies fighting against Russia. All right, so it says Russia's closest ally announces joint military drills. All of Belarus bases will be used during the exercise, as Defense Ministry said. It says the Belarusian Defense Ministry has announced that joint training exercise in Russia will take place over several weeks, following the two nations' establishment of a new military force. All right, and they, going into these drills, I always say, whenever they do these different drills and everything, it's not for shits and giggles, man. These things cost money to do. All right, so hey, you better get your so-called money's worth of these things, man. All right, to be able to use, to be able to fly these planes, to take fuel. All right, and it also takes soldiers to maneuver all these different things. So you got to think about moving the soldiers from point A to point B, which is a large-scale logistics move in itself. All right, then to house them all, then to feed them all. All right, just think about, when you back in high school or something like that, and you go on a field trip, or let's say the football team is going to a game somewhere else. All right, hey, they got to rent a bus. They got to rent hotel rooms, all right, and then they got to actually have, enough fuel to be able to get there, all right? So, hey, all these different things is, a costly measure just to be able to do these here drills, man. So these drills aren't being done for nothing, all right? It says the drills will begin in January 16 and continue until February, the ministry said on Sunday. The exercise will feature tactical aviation units drawn from both nations that form part of the new Belarus-based joint military force. All the country's air bases will be involved in the drills, according to the ministry. Russian warplanes have already arrived in Belarus, according to the defense ministry statement. Moscow and Minsk announced the creation of a joint regional military force in October, with the move touted as a response to the growing pressure of NATO forces near the Belarusian border. And we can go into that as well, too. As far as, as the scriptures say, your own schemes, all right, is going to be your downfall. All right, all these different things that these American Edomites are over here doing, all right, is doing nothing more but pushing themselves into how you could say the belly of the beast, or the scriptures say leading them to the king of terrors. All right, just bringing them to their own demise. They over here arming Ukraine and everything else like that, trying to surround Russia and move all the way up into Russia and everything else like that. But at the end all be all, it's just bringing them out. Them and their allies. Hey, you wreck the relationship between your allies and everything else like that, and putting you in a target site of Russia. All right, and then it's also causing these other nations to look for protection. All right, and where are they going for protection? Where are they looking to get protection from? All right, they're going to Russia for that. All right. It says the host nation has contributed some 70,000 military personnel to the mission, while Russia has reportedly deployed 9,000 of its own troops, as well as some of the most advanced weapon systems. The new force will cool down hotheads in the West. It says the Secretary of Belarusian National Security told the media last week. He added that an increasing number of military drills and reconnaissance flights conducted by NATO members had indicated that the policy was far from being peace-loving and required counter-reaction. All right, so hey, there's no going back from where they at. It says senior officials in Belarus have accused the U.S.-led military bloc of compromising its national security by increasing military deployment in Eastern Europe. All right, same thing that Russia was saying with the Ukrainian situation. All right. Defense Minister Viktor Korin said that the U.S. alone has some 35,000 troops in the region, including 22,000 in Poland and the Baltic states. He claimed that those forces could be used to attack his nation. Same line that Russia said about Ukraine. All right, Russia and Belarus have long been allies, and their militaries are closely integrated, operating a joint air defense system. Minsk allowed Moscow to use its territory during the special operation against its mutual neighbor Ukraine, but declined to provide troops. All right, and so as we see, once things get even bigger and bigger, because with America, arming Ukraine. All right, they're saying, look, we're not gonna go for it. We can't allow Russia to win this. If possible, or if things get to that point, we're gonna have to use everything that we have in our arsenal to stop them. All right, and the same thing Russia is saying the same on their side. All right, so let's jump into some scriptures real quick. Not wanting to make this very long, but going into Ezekiel 38:1, it says, "And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith Yahweh power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army." All right, now, there was another article that was speaking about how come they didn't speak about certain things at the fall of the USSR. How come they didn't get these guarantees all the way together at that point in time? All right, but now you're starting to see how things have escalated to the point to where they are right about now. All right, to where you're starting to get some of these nations are starting to make a lot of them are already formal allies to Russia, but you're starting to see them strengthen their relationships together with them. All right, now you're starting to see these things come back together to where you're starting to see a remnant of the USSR, and that whole Cold War is coming right back up into play, man. All right, but this is all being done by the shaking of the house by Russia, or by America, Salakia. It says, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks to thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed in all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, and all of them handling swords." All right, they're going to be coming out, and they're going to have these, how they call them, missile defense systems. All right, these advanced weaponry, advanced missiles, and everything else like that. What do you think Russia's been developing over the last couple of years, man? All right, not just for themselves, they're developing these things for these other nations as well too, to buy from them. All right, it says Persia, Ethiopia, Libya with them, and all of them with shields and helmet. Gomer and all his bands in the house of Tomargah of the north quarters, and all his people and many people with thee. All right, so there's going to be a conglomerations of nations following alongside with Russia. It says, "Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself." All right, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So as we see, Russia over the last couple of years have been developing more and more advanced missile defense systems, more and more advanced actual missiles, and nuclear bombs and things like that. All kind of different missiles, nuclear powered cruise missiles, hypersonic missiles. All right, nuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles. All right, they got offensive and defensive weapons on the build up right about now, man. All right, so when was the last time you heard America release something new, release a new type of technology? They're still trying to get their damn hypersonic missiles together, man. Whereas Russia's already putting them out into the battlefields. All right, so as we can see, Russia's taking the lead in military advancement. All right, let me go from there to Joel 3:9. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them all come up." All right, so these mighty men, all right, these men of war are all being prepared for what? All right, World War III. All right, and you've seen these nations doing joint military drills with one another, and look, they all have pretty much the same enemies, man. All right, Russia and their side, they all are enemies against what? America and everything else like that. Now America and their side, all right, everybody that's on their side is not necessarily got that bad disdain for Russia, man. All right, you see in France, Germany, and a lot of the EU, that's like, look, man, we might have to reconsider our situation over here, man. All right, nations like Turkey, all right, it's looking at America like, look, bro, y'all always giving us a raw end of the deal, man. We always got things looking at us sideways, man. So, we might have to reevaluate our relationship with you. All right, so it's not as strong on that side as it is on the Russian side. While Russian side is being built up with allies, the American side is actually starting to crack in their friendships, man. All right, so proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. It says, beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears, let the weak say I am strong. All right, so all these different nations that America used to look at and just, keep it moving and everything else like that. Now, as they're starting to join partnership with Russia and everything else like that, now things are becoming a problem. Now things aren't so much of an easy fight. Now they can't just sit there and be threatening people like they once used to. Now, because these nations can say, hey, well, we'll come over there and do something to you, and Russia say, hey, well, we'll. All right, America was bombing the hell out of Syria. All right, and trying to get their way over there. But what? Russia went over there and said, look, we'll take care of the so-called terrorists that y'all over here trying. Y'all blowing up more of the country. Get rid of them, and we'll put what was it, S-300 over. Slovakia. All right, continuing on, it says, we just read that. Let me read it again. Verse 10 says, beat your plowshares and the swords and your pruning hooks and the spears. Let the weak say I'm strong. And again, like I said, you start to see a lot more of these different nations starting to build their arsenals up. All right. Let me read one more and we'll close out. This is it. Hang on. Oh, yep. Jeremiah 50 and 9, it says, Jeremiah 50 and 9, it says, for lo, I'll raise a cause to come up against Babylon, an assembly of great nations, all right, from the north country. And this is what you're starting to see these nations do. They're starting to assemble themselves, do joint military drills together with one another. I prepare them to go out to battle with one another as one nation, all right, a conglomeration of nations, all right. It says, for lo, I'll raise the cause to come up against Babylon, an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. The arrow shall be as a mighty expert man, and none shall return in vain. So, hey, we already know who's going to wind up taking Babylon the Great up out of power, man. All right, it's these here Russians, along with their allies, and a portion of America's allies, man. And as we see in watching the news, the vision is just for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. What are we starting to witness, man? We're starting to witness America, Russia and their allies starting to get greater and greater and greater. All right, doing these joint military drills together and everything else like that. But what are we witnessing on the other side? The American economy is weakening. All right, the how do you say the faith in America in itself is starting to dwindle. All right, their own allies are starting to weaken in their relationships and all these different things, man. So hey, it's only going to lead to what? World War III. All right, looking at the scenarios that you have out there in the Ukraine, hey man, you're pretty much at a stalemate. Somebody's going to have to go big or go home. All right, and then when they go big, hey, that's when World War III pops off, man. All right, but I'm gonna go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostle and elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and ever will. And salutation and much love for you. I can push and shoot and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and endure afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.